I always have to cough right after I turn on the camera. What in the hell? Alright. Scroll saw conversion. When I bought this scroll saw, I didn't know that there were different pin types, or blade types. There's the pin type, which is currently installed, and then there is the non-pin type. I wanted a scroll saw that would run the non-pin type because they have the spiral pin, so you can do more adequate, not adequate, but you got a lot more versatility with your cuts than you do with a pin type blade. Pin type blade, you can pretty much cut in and some slight curves depending on the blade width. The spiral blades, they have, or the plain blades, they have spirals. They have spiral blades, so you can cut in pretty much any direction. I'm hesitant to even put this video on the internet because unfortunately I have to recommend a company that I feel is a freaking joke. They might have, I can't even say for certain that they have decent woodworking equipment, but for the most part the majority of what I bought from them is crap, and I'm actually banned from shopping there because every time I get a shipment in I have to complain about half of the things and send them back and play this big damn game. I'd rather pay a little bit more somewhere else and get better quality. I'm going to give a little review of this saw here at the end of this video, but let's get on to the pins. I have this collection of miscellaneous machine parts that I really don't like on my machines, or that I've modified and just kept the parts separate from the rest of my crap. And of course I can't figure out where, oh there we go. Yep, here's part of it. Here's another part of it. Okay, so in order to, and this will work not just on Grizzly, but it should work on damn near any scroll saw that has these type of arms on it. If you guys can see this, got more crap in my way again. So if it's got, you know, this style arm on it, this conversion will work on it. Now, the thing I don't want to tell you is that I've seen online you can get an Olsen conversion kit, and from what I've heard they're pretty much crap. So you know, I think they're around $30, but they have rather bad reviews. So I think that's all I need out of this box for this little video. Alright, so scroll saw conversion. Standard equipment on, let's say this scroll saw for example is this. This was the top piece and that was the bottom. This is specifically made only to hold pin type blades in two directions. This was, well, I don't even know why they put that one on. This one was actually just, I believe it was a little bit too wide to fit. Yeah, it's just a hair too wide to fit the conversion piece in there. And it's also, the bend's kind of crap on it. If you compare the two, you can kind of see the difference on the bend. This one's a lot more prominent than this one. So to convert these, you need to go down to the hardware, and you're going to need a longer bolt for the bottom. You're going to need some kind of spacer. I think I originally, yeah, I just got a steel spacer in here, or aluminum spacer. I wish I got this saw bolted down, but I got this aluminum spacer in here, and I got it from the hardware store, and I actually just kind of cut it off, and I had to drill out this piece a little bit to get it, and so it actually sits against the arm itself and not against the metal. Then you need a longer screw, of course. Okay, now unfortunately if you go to Grizzly, You know, as opposed to spending $30 on an Olsen kit, you can order the top piece, the bottom piece like this, and make sure you get the top and the bottom, because if you get two tops, it's going to have your pin type blades on the other side. And it would work with two tops if you weren't planning on ever putting any side blade in there. And then you're going to need to order a pair of these, and I believe they're sold in a pair as replacement parts. Now, to get the replacement parts, I ordered them off of the Shop Fox model, and they have I think they have two models on there. I think the parts are pretty much the same, but they have the one model that is either or, and it's pretty much this piece, and then it has a little like storage on the back of the saw right here for the other piece, the other pin types. So you order top and bottom, a pair of these, and go to the hardware store and get yourself a longer bolt and a spacer. And you might even have a spacer. All you need is a piece of pipe or something cut to a length where it'll fit between. And that's your conversion kit. And believe it or not, it only costs about $5. With this, I took this piece off because I believe when you do the conversion, I think that's why another reason why I ordered top and bottom. I think these sit at a little bit different. I'm not sure why I took that off, but there was a reason I took this piece off, and this just goes onto the bottom of the table. And then I just ditched this piece of crap because I cut a lot of stuff that's pretty thin, and well, you understand. So that's what you have to do for a conversion. That and shipping and handling, I think you're looking at about $11. I haven't had any problems with it yet. You know, it just bolts. I just take my other blade off. I need to get a different foot plate, and it just pretty much bolts right in there. You know, you hook it on the, you stick it, you take your plate out, you stick it on the bottom, you pull it up, hook it on the top, tension it, and you're good to go. So I've been looking at a lot of the cheaper scroll saws, Craftsman, Delta, all have, you know, anything with the spring in the rear has these type of arms. So it's easy enough to convert it for a couple of bucks compared to $30 for a kit that's apparently a piece of crap. Now, as my review, and this is part of the reason I don't like Grizzly, is I wrote a review on this scroll saw when I got it, because it took me probably about 8 hours of working kinks out of this thing, and then some to get it to work right. I had to put a, see if you can see it, I had to put a shim or a washer in the back side of the table here, because the whole table would move forward and backwards almost 1/8 of an inch. I got it, it's quite a bit more rigid now. I don't know if you can see this either, but this whole table has ripples down it from, I'm going to say probably from not enough cutting fluid or cooling fluid when they were doing the grinding. Pan you a little view. Yeah, you can see the ripples a little bit. They have this stupid single arm that comes up, so this whole front part would move, I'd say almost 1/4 of an inch altogether. So I had to build another brace that came over and braced it here. This is actually the second motor. The first one, where the bearings are inside, I thought the bearings were going out, but where the bearings sit inside, the whole inside casting of this front cover on the motor started to oblong out like Abe shake, so the whole bearing was going up and down. Part of the reason for that is this is the stock flywheel on the Grizzly, and they use this as a selling point. They say it's a counterbalanced flywheel. Frankly, it's a joke. And with this flywheel, you actually only have 1/2 inch of blade travel. You know, and the other selling point for this, they say it's got the largest throat capacity in its class, which I had to put a hold down shoe because it doesn't have one. And without that, you could fit like a 2-inch piece of stock through there. But if any of you know anything about sawing, when you're taking a 1/2 inch stroke through a 2-inch piece of stock, you have no expulsion of your whatever you want to call it, sawdust, kerf, whatever you're cutting. It just builds up in there, and then it seizes up and it breaks your blades. So the flywheel causes one hell of a vibration. Pretty much, you know, that's the reason this was bolted down, is because it wanted to leave the table. And the other thing is, the Shop Fox flywheel that I put on here, I had to do some modification to it. It's got between, you know, it'll give it a 3/4 inch throw as opposed to a 1/2 inch, so I got another 1/4 inch of cutting area. So I could cut, you know, a 1/2 inch piece of stock and it'll clear it pretty well. Anything bigger than that, it starts to run into clearance issues for disposing of chips. But the hole for the shaft on the back of this is a little bit bigger than on the Shop Fox one. And the Shop Fox, if you guys can see this, is a, let me grab a flashlight just because ain't no point in poking around in the dark. So if you can see this, that's a, you know, it's a solid flywheel. It's not cut off like the Grizzly is. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I had to do. I had to machine a little bit on the front for clearance issues. And then the back, I just used a drill, and it's worked fine so far because it's got a set screw right there. And I think I just had to machine it a little bit because I think this was solid all the way out and I was catching up on that nut in there. You could probably get away with using like a flathead screw or something if you don't have a way of machining that down. But I mean, if you can get it mounted on this motor, you could take a Dremel essentially and get it rotating, get the Dremel rotating in the opposite direction, and machine it down like that if you need to. So that's another thing I had to do to it. I just ditched the covers on it because it's a lot easier to clean. Obviously I added a hold down plate, hold down foot. I think I'm going to ditch this whole thing because it's useless. I don't like it. I'll do a different hold down plate because this whole thing has, well, it's not doing it now. Yeah, see, it doesn't even bolt on there solid. And it doesn't matter how hard I tweak those bolts. Maybe I could put some plates or something in to get it to stay. But I'm going to do a different hold down plate anyway, because when I put my other blade on, it doesn't even touch until I'm halfway through. The little air hose on it, on the original, kind of just came down the side, and this hose was just stuffed onto this little skinny tube, and then it was held on with a metal clamp on the side, and there was like a great big air gap in the side, so it would just blow out there and you wouldn't barely get any air pushing out the front to even clear chips. So yeah, that's pretty much my review. I originally posted like a 3-page review on Grizzly. Well, submitted it to them, but it never got posted because it was a 1-star review. I had seen a little while later that somebody else had posted a 2-star review and said that they were going to return it the next day as it was that big of a piece of crap. Since then, the 2-star review has been erased and there is a 5-star review. So I don't know what the guy was smoking who put a 5-star review on there. But that's one of the reasons I wouldn't believe anything that Grizzly says, is because I own this saw. I saw somebody else's opinion of this saw, and it was close to mine. And now apparently some Yahoo has decided that it's the best machine they've ever owned, so it's probably the only one they've ever owned, and they have no comparison. And it's the only one I've ever owned, and I don't need a comparison. I know a piece of crap when I smell a piece of crap. So easy conversion kit for most scroll saws. Couple of bucks at Grizzly. Other than that, I wouldn't buy crap from them. If you do buy stuff from them, be very cautious of what you buy and be prepared to send it back and say, give me one that is functional. I mean, literally, my biggest issue was I would get a big shipment of stuff. I'd have 10 projects going on. You know, it's like my DROs here for my mill. They're still sitting there. I bought those from the same people I got one from my lathe. And so I have, it's eye gauging. You know, I got faith that they're all right. I've already opened the boxes and looked at them. But if you buy anything from Grizzly, you need to go through every one of those tools. You need to check it and make sure you can use it. You know, for example, I don't even know where the hell it's at anymore. It's somewhere in this mess of crap. Oh, it's right here. This was a Grizzly tool too, a 7-inch tap extension. I've actually had to take these jaws out and file them. As you can tell, they're still kind of messed up. And then on top of that, this shaft, as it goes into here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's well, you probably can't see that, but that shaft, as it goes into there, it's actually bent. You know, it goes in at an angle. So you put this in, and then these I have to do something with still, because they hold a tap at an angle. So you end up with a tap extension where your whole setup's like this, and you're supposed to use that to tap with or something. You know, it's made for smaller taps, and if you know how finicky smaller taps are, you sure as hell don't want some bent tap extension attempting to reach some spot that's nasty to tap in the first place. So that's another Grizzly item. And you know, it was 2 months before I found that defect, because I had many projects going on. So yeah, I won't shop at Grizzly. I don't recommend shopping at Grizzly, but the Shop Fox replacement parts are, I'd say, a hell of a lot better deal than the Olsen. So I'm doing this for the people that want to convert their scroll saws, and I'm not doing this to give Grizzly customers. You know, I'd prefer if you you know, I'm sure you can buy these, since they're replacement parts for Shop Fox, from somewhere other than Grizzly. And if you decide to go this route, please find somewhere besides Grizzly. I gotta get back to work. I hope this helps some of you guys that would like to make their scroll saws a little more versatile.